citizens of the empire. Is it possible to kind of recollect that period and the context in which
Yeah.
the ideas of that book emerged?
I've often said this when I've talked about my books. I can guarantee there's not a single original idea in any of my books. And the reason I say that is to point out that, people before me have sketched out these power dynamics and gone into great detail. Historians, political scientists, activists. And if I've done anything useful, it's simply to put into plain language uh, the kind of theory that often is inaccessible to ordinary people. So I take that as a great compliment that citizens of the empire achieved that. Uh, I was born in the United States and badly educated, like most of us. So it wasn't until I was about 30 years old that I actually started to think about power in a serious way. And my original academic work was in feminism, the feminist critique of sexual exploitation. And that helped me understand this, what you mentioned, this domination subordination dynamic, the role of the United States in the world. Now, prior to that, I would have thought, well, the United States has done some bad things. The Vietnam War wasn't very bright. What you might call a traditional liberal critique of bad actors. And through the reading and the activism that I engaged in, I started to understand it's more systematic. And at the heart of it was the dire need to understand the United States, not as the vehicle for freedom and democracy around the world, but in fact, an imperial project, an imperial power that went around the world pretty much the way empires do, maximizing its own wealth and power. All right, well, by the time 9/11 came along, that was a very useful framework to understanding that, yes, terrorist attacks on civilians are, beyond defense, but that the United States response was going to be devastating not only to the individuals who were underneath the bombs that were falling, but to the world more generally. The thing to focus on was in Citizens of the Empire, I tried to take apart, in a sense, the bad education I had received in the United States. So there's a chapter, for instance, in which I examine the phrase that you hear all the time from US politicians, that the United States is the greatest nation on earth. I grew up with that and had internalized that. And the minute I started thinking critically about it, realized it was a crazy notion for several reasons. One is that no nation can claim to be the greatest nation on earth. It's an absurd claim. And the second was, of course, that the record of the United States didn't really lend itself to the claim of being the greatest.